And welcome back to the podcast, ladies and gentlemen. I am your host, Vaz, and you're watching the Vaz Show, music and entertainment at its finest. We got a guest today from Rosenberg, Texas. Before we get to there, make sure you follow us on all the social media pages at the Vaz Show. Check out the website, TheJVazShow.com. Make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel and hit the subscribe button if you're listening to us on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, or iHeartRadio. And let's get right into this. Joining us today, like I said, from Rosenberg, Texas. Marc, go ahead and introduce yourself, Marc.
Yo, man.
Talk to us.
Hey, man, I go by Marc The Protege. I'm from Rosenberg, Texas. Straight up, I'm from Rosenberg and Richmond, Texas, and I've been doing this for a minute, man. So I'm glad to be in the H-Town scene doing it, and it's been a nice run. So,
and some of you guys might remember the face. Marc was part of the Wiggy Wiggy top 5 finalists. We'll talk about that here in a second, man. So. Shit, let's get into the interview, man. You are from Rosenberg, Richmond area, you said.
Yes, sir.
Is that where you've lived all your life? Is that where you grew up, or is that just straight up where you from, like where you were born at?
Born and raised. I did a few times where cause I come from a split household as far as mom and dad divorced when I was an infant and shit. But So my dad, he lived out in Houston a few times where I would just come by the weekends or whatnot, but it was strictly Rosenberg and Richmond, born and raised.
All right, man. So speaking of Rosenberg, since, most of the artists that we have out here are from Houston, things of that nature, so we're not so familiar with the music scene, I guess you can say, as far as Rosenberg goes.
Mm-hmm.
Talk to us about the music scene out there. What you guys got going on, man?
Well, as far as the music scene, it's actually picking up. You know what I'm saying? When I started getting things going, I'm not gonna say that I pioneered the shit, but as far as when I started taking the music serious, a couple years back, 3 years back when I dropped my first video, nothing was really going on. But within this past year, the artist's been going crazy out there. Shout out to my boy Doug. He goes by the artist name O'Shea. Shout out to that boy Byron Bandana. And more importantly, man, I gotta say there's someone that I grew up on that Houston knows. Houston knows him. You know what I'm saying? Buns. If y'all familiar with Lamaki 9,
Buns,
GT
man.
Garza, and Brown by Honor, you know what I'm saying? Buns was the first one that I know. I grew up in 6th grade, watching him do his thing with the SUC Legends when he dropped his first mixtape and all that. And he actually just recently reached out to me to work. And I told him, I was like, man, coming from you, that means a lot. So before me, there was Buns, and definitely inspired me. So there's some things coming up out of Rosenberg, man. There's some people that I missed out and I did not name. I'm sorry, you know what I'm saying? But shout out to Ziggy, shout out to man, I'm sorry if I forgot you. My bad, man.
The mind went blank.
Shout out to y'all. I'll fuck with y'all though.
It's funny you bring up Buns, man, because we had an interview last week where we were talking about Buns. His name popped up. And I was telling, it was actually Prophet. I don't know if you know Prophet. I was telling Prophet that I heard about Buns by 2008 when I was doing music. But even though I liked his music, I couldn't rock with him because him and my boy had beef.
Oh, yeah?
Leacock. So it was kind of like...
Yeah, that was a thing. That was a thing. I remember.
So I was like, man, it's my boy. I can't... He be jamming, but I can't really be showing him no love.
Yeah.
And they whatever happened between them is whatever. We ain't gonna bring that up. But another artist that was pretty dope out there. I don't know if you're familiar with him. DJ Kappa. You ever mess with DJ Kappa?
Yo, I remember that name popping up on MySpace when I was a kid. I probably sent that dude some music. It was probably some bullshit ass recordings I did over a digital camera or something.
Yeah,
possibly, I don't know, but I remember that name popping up. I remember the graphic. It was this. I have the greatest memory, by the way, but it was this black background graphic, and it had white lettering and said DJ Kappa. It was on MySpace. And, I seen the dude was from Rosenberg.
Yeah.
I didn't know what he did. I just seen the word DJ, and I was like, this is tight.
Man, that dude was so talented. I don't know what happened to him.
I can't put a face to him, so I don't know who it is. But
I recorded at his place a couple of times, but shout out to them. Shout out to everybody out there in Rosenberg, Texas that watch or listen to the show, man. But enough about that. So talk to us as far as how and when exactly did you get into hip-hop?
Well, when I got into hip-hop, when I first got into hip hop, I remember watching 8 Mile. That actually inspired me to actually go and try to do some type of rapping. When I watched 8 Mile, I went home and started battling my sister, like in the living room, in the kitchen and shit. And we were literally trying to have a rap battle right there. She probably don't remember, but that struck something, and it struck an interest because I saw Eminem's character, and I seen certain similarities. You know what I'm saying? Of course, I was a kid, so I didn't understand how it was to like have his certain struggles he was going through. But as far as like personally, like I adapt to it somehow. Something about being an outcast and all this other shit. And I seen he used that as his outlet. And I actually wanted to try out sports and shit, but seeing that you can't tell from the camera, but if you see me in person and shit, or if you see my videos, I'm not that tall, so the sports shit didn't work out for me. So I was like, all right, cool. This hip hop shit might work. I see Eminem doing it. I kind of adapt to him and understand where he's coming from. And once I seen 8 Mile, it was a rap. I went back home. I was like 11 years old, 10 years old, or something like that. I was around that age time, and like yeah, man, I started a rap from there. It was fucking trash, but we just go from there, and that kind of got me going. And I'll say like even just my favorite artist from that actually like inspired me to do what I do is Eminem, Tupac, Biggie's, SPM's, Houston Legends, things of that nature. You know what I'm saying? Like, your typical top five, Jay
Yeah.
Z's, all them. I listen to everybody, bro. I'm big on my influences come from every coast. You know what I'm saying? That's what makes Marc The Protege, and it actually goes along with my rap name too. So
Yeah, yeah, that's what's up, man. So obviously, you just mentioned, all your influences.
yeah,
If you could compare your style, and the reason I'm asking this question now is because when I listen to your music, it's not very Houston-like. It
right.
sounds so distinct from it.
Uh huh.
So you could, if you were to go mainstream tomorrow, people wouldn't even know you're from out here, and it's a good thing.
Yeah.
It's a good thing. I'm not saying that in a negative way. But if you could take an artist and be like, this is what you think your style sounds like, what artist would that be?
Man, I know the average answer. Everybody says me. You know what I'm saying? I'm distinct. I'm myself or whatever. But at the end of the day, our music is put in a certain playlist on someone's Spotify playlist, and it's grouped with the other group of artists. So if I was to say like what people group me in their workout playlist and what other artists is playing, I can only go based off that. And this sounds so weird, but Kendrick Lamar, a J. Cole, things of that nature, and whatever the BPM fits and the lyrics fit. So I would say them as far as the lyrics, and as far as like I guess the BPM of the music I recently been putting out. It'll also fit with like a 21 Savage and sounds of that as far as production wise. So, I mean, that's what I would say. I guess I get a lot of Kendrick comparisons, and it's not intentional, but I mean, if that's what they hear, I can't
That's what
fight
they
it. You know
hear.
what I'm
Yeah.
saying? I'm still trying to find my tone myself. So, hey, man.
All right. So we're just talking about your comparison to other artists, or who you think you compare to, or who you think you sound like.
Right.
So we were talking about how back in the day, you say you recorded like a video or whatever, send it to Cap or whatever, possibly. Now the reason I'm bringing that up is because I want to know which was your very first song you recorded professionally, not
Ah,
on your cell phone and shit like that, but your first recorded track in an actual studio, even if it was
trash.
no, or even if it
Because
was
it
like a
was.
booth in a closet, but your actual that you felt like, okay, this is my legit first track ever recorded.
Man, I gotta say, man, the first one that I could think off top, there's this cat. I ain't gonna mention his name because he did some personal whole ass shit to a certain family member of mine that, yeah, so I ain't gonna give him no light. But he had his own studio in Rosenberg, and it was like short lived. It was like a couple months he had it, and the laws shut it down because I guess you gotta have some type of official paperwork or some shit like that. But I recorded something, and it was trash, but it had like the Drake hook. It had like we sampled this Drake hook. That you remember that song by Drake that which is the song where he says, I'm about my business, killing all these rappers. You would swear you have a hit list. Uh, uh, Is it Tell Me? I don't know. But
Your
anyways,
guess is as good as mine. I
yeah,
don't
yeah,
know.
yeah. But we sampled that, and it was the first time I attempted at with some good quality. And yeah, man, let's just say you won't find that on the internet anywhere. You won't find that anywhere. Matter of fact, I probably I got it in an email somewhere, but you'll never find that ever.
Let's see if we can get that so we can put that right here with people watching.
Jesus Christ, man. Well, that would
Uh,
definitely like change people's perspective. It's like,
um,
who did he say he was compared to? Like what? Bullshit. That was terrible,
so
man.
so that being your first song recorded, what was the first time you ever performed?
First time I ever performed. Oh, this is a good one. Yeah. I so pretty cool. And I have the flyer and everything to this day. So it was the first time I ever performed outside of like the talent show at my high school, which is also a good one. I'm gonna tell you about that one. But my first actual real show was I opened up for Slim Thug, Lil Kiki, and they added Propane last minute. This is when Propane had the 2 round song with Rich Homie Quan. It was around that time period, man. And like it was in Rosenberg. It was at the spot called the Presidente. And I remember it was like February something. I remember this day not only because it was my first show, but we made it so important and so cool. And I knew the promoter. He grew up with my pops and shit. And they put me on the flyer. And like the minute we dropped that on Facebook, motherfuckers didn't even know who I was like that. They knew I was so and so's little brother and shit, but like and son, but like they didn't even know that I rapped or whatever. The minute that flyer came out, motherfuckers started looking at my music, seeing what's up. I ended up being like the man in my town. Even though at the
Yeah.
time, like I'm gonna keep it 100, my music did not sound good at all. It was bad. It was bad. But you know what? The thing about coming from Rosenberg is that the minute that you have some type of potential and some type of shine, like people gravitate towards it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because we ain't got nothing going. We ain't got nothing going on over there. So the minute that someone has some type of potential, they rhyme with it and they rocking with it. And yeah, that was the first show I ever had. And believe it or not, to this day, I don't know why, but a couple people say, people that were there say, bro, I remember that, man. That was like one of your best shows. Of course, now I'll say no, but
Hell nah,
they'll
bro.
live with that to this day. And it was incredible. My grandma was in the crowd.
No shit.
Yeah,
That's
like we
dope.
have the
That's
picture.
dope.
She's like posted up, like for real, like in her like Jesus robe and shit. Yeah, she does the church thing or whatever. So like, yeah, that shit was tight. Yo, and we packed that thing out, bro. We sold some tickets, man.
That's
Like that
dope,
shit
man.
was crazy, man.
So the reason I asked that, I always like to ask artists this: comparing your first time ever recorded, comparing your first time ever performing to now, the last song you recorded maybe yesterday or whatnot, your last show maybe last weekend. What was the difference like as far as confidence? Because you're just telling me right now that your music was trash back then, but I know you were excited about it, the performance. So comparing those two performances, comparing those, your last song recorded compared to your first song recorded.
Yeah.
Talk to me as far as your confidence and not just the passion that you feel for it now compared to what you did then.
Man, get ready, man. That's a really good question. Fuck, I love this interview. So like, so the difference between that, there's like pros and cons. Of course, I sound way better now, and I perform way better now. I really do. You know what I'm saying? I perform incredible now compared to where I was before. The progression is crazy. My confidence on the mic, incredible. I could put words together better. Everything. I know how to record now. You know what I'm saying? Not all the way like I would like to, but I give the engineer less work. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because I have an idea of where I want to take it and all that. So as far as like crafting a song and crafting a performance in a show and interacting with the crowds, way better. But I will say this. This is why I said there's like pros and cons to both sides. When I first came into the game and I wanted to give this shit a try, and I was just so happy just to be doing anything, whether it was my first song, whether it was my first show, keyword, happy. I was super happy. Not that I'm not happy now, but it was so fun. There was no fucks given. When you don't care about like where a song's gonna go and you just in there with your boys and y'all just rapping and no fucks given, it's so much fun.
Yeah.
And now that like and we were just talking about this off air, but like as an artist, you don't even listen to music the same once you start actually knowing your shit and you start like thinking like, okay, I could have done this better. Let me try this, or and you're just perfecting it so much that like sometimes you might trash a song and whatever just because it wasn't good enough. But back then, when I first started, whether my shows or whether it was the songs, like everything got recorded and everything damn near got released, and it was such a fun time. And now it's still fun, but there's definitely I'm more nitpicky, and that
Yeah.
can be a good or a bad thing. And I know that's weird to say because people will hear my music, and whoever heard me from before to now, they'll say, "Man, like bro, like that shit's incredible, man. Like you killing it. Your progression is real." But like I said, it's pros and cons, man. I know the average person would say like give you nothing but pros about today and what they got going on, but to keep it 100, man, like that shit was so much fun not caring and not giving a damn and just saying whatever came to your mind. And then you cringe about it years later. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I look back and those were some of the funnest times.
And now it's like a job. Now it's
And
like
now it's like a job, and now it's like an image, and now I gotta actually like somewhat give a fuck. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? Even on days when I don't want to give a fuck. So the cool thing about that is that when I'll take time to free write as if like I don't have no concept at all, and it helps me bring whatever joy is missing sometimes. And I'll like have no concept, and I'll write a song or I'll make a song that never gets released.
yeah.
Just for joyful purposes for myself of why I love this shit and just and why I continue to do this shit. Keep it fun.
Who's the engineers and the producers you work with?
Man, I gotta give the biggest shout out. You know, I gotta give the biggest shout out to DJ Grimm. He's from Rosenberg, Texas, and he actually is the reason why I actually started pursuing it professionally. He took me under his wing, and he was the only engineer that I ever rocked with, that I ever messed with. Only producer, beat maker, everything. He has records with Kiki, Boosie, Slim, all them. And he took me under his wing just because I was so enthusiastic about hip hop. And I was so happy just to be a part of like a studio and all this shit. So I would just be a fly on the wall, just soaking in game. And he was the engineer that I always went to. So when I was making my first records, he was with it, and he would say, "Man, bro, keep going." And he kept on like making sure that I progressed from there. And he was teaching me things. He was teaching me how to write a song, choruses, hooks. I didn't know what a bridge was. He taught me about that. This is the catchy part. Like this is how you write a catchy verse. You know, instead of just writing just a regular verse. All this other shit. So DJ Grimm, he's from Rosenberg, Texas, but he made his mark in Houston. But you know, outside of him, man, I just be out here, man. So I recently started going to Barron Studios, fucking with the engineers out there. They did no handouts. As far as my recent work, it hasn't been with Grimm lately. Just personal things, but forever to this day, I owe that man the biggest thank you. For real.
Yeah.
He's the reason why I'm sitting right here. Just you even know who I am. Anybody. You know what I'm saying? He taught me that how to be dope.
Yeah.
So for real.
So, all right. So we were talking about your first show,
Yeah.
and you were talking about how it was you were opening up for Slim Thug.
Yes, sir. Slim, Kiki, Propane, and then Lil O got at it on there, man. Man, shout out to my boy Nick, man. Nick put me on to my first show, and he pulled some strings on that one, man. He got some connections, man.
So, speaking of shows, about 3 months ago, and I don't know you might have a more recent one, but the one that I know about was about 3 months ago. You had opening up for Paul Wall as well.
Yup.
So again, talk to us about that experience of being able to open up, because there's a lot of artists that have been putting work for a long time and don't get these opportunities.
Yeah.
So to me, I would feel like it's a dope ass feeling.
For real.
Talk to us about how you felt about opening up for Paul Wall, and what was that experience like?
It's nothing. No, I'm kidding. Man, I'll tell you this, man. Anytime and any opportunity I get to pay my dues to the OGs of this shit, man, I don't give a fuck if you spit one freestyle on a screw tape and nobody knows your name and whatever. But like if you did something that contributed to my childhood, I don't give a damn who you were in this music shit or how far your career went. I don't care if you're Paul Wall, and I don't care if you were little so-and-so that did the accounting at Swisher House. You know what I'm saying? Like, or if you did one little freestyle off a tape and that's where it went. I always will pay my dues, and it's always a blessing when I get to meet these cats, open up for these cats on shows and shit. So to open up for Paul Wall, man, it's always a blessing. Like I'm not like honestly, like if you would have told me that I'd be doing cool shit like that, like that's the shit that makes me happy, performing and knowing that I could see my name on a flyer right next to them and all that other shit. And shout out to my boy Big Yogi for putting that together. Y'all make sure y'all follow Big Yogi, man. That dude puts together a lot of dope events, and he definitely looks out for artists that are worth it. And yeah, man. So it's always a blessing. I remember just like it was yesterday, uh, listening to Paul's first album, and even before that, the mixtapes. The man was the chick magnet. Like, you know what I'm saying? When you think about it, that's a hard ass fucking name just to say I'm a player at it. You know what I'm saying? Like the cool thing about Texas, man, and our OGs is that they so slick with the wordplay in the game. Like Zero, he can't go a fucking conversation without saying some like the coolest, slickest words. Like he's a pimp from the '70s and shit. That shit is live. Like I
Hey,
wish
you
I
right,
could talk
though.
like
You
that.
right.
I wish I could talk like them, bro. Like
Pimp C was like that too.
Pimp was like that, man. So to even be to even be on a flyer, or even if I don't even get to meet them at the shows, man, because like just to be on the same lineup and touch the same stage as them, like you know, I always show my love and I always make sure that they know how it was for me, because you know we do too much of like we too cool to say to show love, or we too cool to do anything. Me, I'm a fan before anything. Like outside the music shit, I'm a fan first. I will always be a fan first. I don't before I even want to work. I want to work with the legends. I want to work with the Houston OGs. I want to work with the Pauls, the Slim, Chameleonaires, and all that shit. I would love to work with them, but just talking to them, letting them know how I feel, how they embrace me or whatever. And I'm not saying I know Paul like that.
Yeah.
I met Paul once, but like he doesn't know me. You know what I'm saying? I'm not finna front and whatever. But just being a fan first, it means everything. So to just do my rap shit right next to them
Yeah.
means even more.
So speaking of stages, let's take it back to last year.
Mm-hmm.
Talk about the big stage, 97.9 The Box, Hustle Town Network put it together.
Shout out.
Hashtags no free promos.
Huh.
You were one of the top 5 finalists on the Wigga Wigga Challenge.
Huh.
We talked about this at the very beginning of the interview, so let's get into that.
Let's get it.
Me growing up being a big SPM fan, just taking a guess that if I would have been one of the top 5, I would have been like, this is fucking dope, whether I win or not. So before we get to the finalist part, talk about the whole experience of putting your verse together. Was it a freestyle? Did you write this down? Talk to us about the whole process of how you got to be in the top 5 finalists.
Man, so I knew what people were gonna come with when they were gonna get on this Wiggy challenge, and I knew there was gonna be a lot of the same styles, especially with you. You talk about the Wiggy challenge, so that's not just gonna bring out the younger generation. That's gonna bring out the older generation. I already know how they rap, and I do that too. You know what I'm saying? And it's not talking down on the older generation, but I do that too, and I do that very well. But if I knew that the Wiggy challenge was gonna bring that type of style and that type of thing, I was like, you know what? I'm Marc The Protege. I come from my inspiration, my motivation that inspires me to rap comes from every coast. So I'm finna hit them with every type of style that I can and hit them one time. So I knew that I was gonna say the wittiest bars, because when you think about Wiggy, there's a lot of funny lines in that song.
Yeah.
It's damn near comedy. You know what I'm saying? And not trying to like downplay it like that, but like it's funny. SPM was a character. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, you know what? Let me try to say some funny bars as well. And I wanted to do it in the most diverse way. And I already know when you see my name, Marc The Protege, it already stands out on a flyer. It already stands out if you tag me on something that's like Marc The Protege. Like that's something. It makes you want to click. And then next thing you know, you see me come through with this diverse style that I chose. And then you hear the funny bars. Like people were quoting my bars in that Wiggy challenge. They're just laughing at it. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I felt like it brought back that same feeling that you had when you listened to SPM's Wiggy.
Yeah.
I remember laughing at some of my dad used to replay it all the time in the car, and we would have such a great time and such a cool, funny bonding experience off of that shit. So I wanted to make sure I incorporated that in my verse and come with a different style, and it ended up standing out, and I'm glad that it did.
So, we need your honest opinion here.
Let's get it.
The top 5. Were you surprised any of the top 5 people made it? Where you were like, that verse was kind of. You don't gotta say no names. I'm not trying to put you on that spot.
Nah, we can say names.
Just
Nah, cause I mean, I have
no,
no
no, but
worries. Yeah,
you know what I'm saying. But I ain't trying to put you in that spot. I just want an answer as far as you were like, okay, I didn't expect so and so to make it. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Like this verse to make it. Was that even a feeling or?
No. As far as the top five, no. I felt like I will say there was this one cat. I want to give him a shout out, man. He should have been on there. Not that I was swapping anything because the top five were dope. But Benjamin Flows.
Benjamin Flows,
He
yes.
did this thing where he like put together where he like from beginning to end he talked about the history of Dope House and all that
Put
shit.
all the artists' name on it. Yeah.
I ain't gonna lie, like bro, if you listening right now, if you watching this, if you know him, send it to him. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yo, bro, like that shit had me worried. When I seen that shit, that's the reason why I said, all right, cool. Because at first I was gonna go with like something that I knew a style that everybody could resonate with, and I was like, I got this. But the minute I seen that, I was like, oh, okay, people coming with concepts now. They trying to be different.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Let me try something real quick. But as far as the top five, yeah, shout out to them. They killed it and they deserved it. That's kind of weird. I'm in the top five, but like, yeah, man. The
I
top,
killed it.
Yeah,
I deserved
like
it.
they did their thing, man. And as far as replacing them with anybody, nah, man. I just wish that boy Benjamin Flows would have been somehow a part of that because that one's the one that really sticks out to me.
He had challenged himself like a month later where he was making people freestyle or something like that. But yeah, his verse was pretty dope. I got him on Facebook, so I know exactly what you're talking about. All right, so you feel like everybody deserved that spot that they got on the top five. Now, as far as competition, like I know you said that you were worried about Benjamin Flow, but just the other four artists that were on there with you, did you feel like, damn, it's gonna be hard to beat so and so for whatever reason?
Yeah, for a fact, clever. I felt like he had the presentation. He had the presentation right. Here I am thinking that, me doing it off my cell phone, and I thought that was gonna be like, because I knew it was gonna be viral moments throughout this whole thing.
Yeah.
And not that mine didn't get attention, because it did. It got attention. Everybody's got attention, but his presentation, he sounded like he recorded it professionally, and like it's like as if it didn't matter what he said. He sounded so good and so cool that I knew that was gonna be something. That like it didn't care how many bars I said, how many bars I flipped, how I was making you laugh. That motherfucker just has the it factor. You know what I'm saying? So he was definitely to me the one that I was like, it's either me or him. It's either me or him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shout out to Clever, man. That's my boy. Shout out to Clever. We had him on the show. If you haven't done so, make sure you check out his interview. We also talked to him about, the Wiggy Wiggy Challenge as well. So now, obviously Clever, when you found out that he won,
Right.
what was your feeling towards that?
Of course, when I instant feeling, because he may not be able to say it because he wasn't necessarily on social media immediately when it happened. Like from what I've seen, he soaked it in, and I got good memory, by the way, man. It's crazy. I'm like I'm like the only rapper that has great memory. But anyways, he soaked it in. And he was hanging out with his family and shit. I'm only going off of Facebook statuses. Don't think I'm like some stalker or something.
Yeah.
Because it was a big moment for me, so I remember everything. And he went on Facebook and he said that he was hanging out with his family and he didn't get a chance to recap it that night, but he appreciates all the love. So that goes with what I'm saying. Immediately, once they announced the winner, it's like I damn near had it ready to say shout out to him. I had the status ready and everything within a few minutes. I just went off inspiration. And I posted a status. Yeah. And I said, man, shout out to Clever, and shout out to the opportunity that all sides gave. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, I had my initial reaction was like, damn. Then immediately was like, he deserves it. Yeah. That's love. So within minutes, man, I was just happy, and I was happy for him.
And I think
and he deserves it because I see the work that he's putting in, and I understand that your viewers, you, and just Houston in general is getting to know my name. You know what I'm saying? But someone like Clever has been putting in the work from the ground up to where I seen it. It's the reason why I started coming out here and doing my shit.
Yeah.
You know, so it's pure inspiration and motivation. So someone like him, no matter what people's opinions are, he got that.
Yeah. See, I think we need more of this, of not necessarily a challenge, but we need more events. We need a platform for artists to come out, the independent artists, because we know Powwow, we know Bun B, we know Slim Thug.
Yeah.
That's cool. Those people are established. But to be able to bring, you know, some of the artists that popped up on the Wiggy Wiggy Challenge, I didn't even know existed. And then
Yeah.
you're like, fuck, there's talent out here that we don't even know about.
Yeah.
So I think we need more of that, especially from the big platforms like, you know, Hustle Sound Network. Obviously, they can do that.
We do, and at the same time, it inspires everybody to go harder. Like, honestly, we were talking off air, but like not everybody that was complaining about not being in the top 5 deserved to be in that top 5. So my thing is, if you got a problem with it, go harder.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And that's not in a bad way, because like I said, Benjamin Flows wasn't in the top 5. He deserved it. There's a lot of people like that too, but it brings this energy out of the city that is needed.
Yeah.
Go harder. Everybody go harder.
Because I understand,
Fuck
you know,
mean?
it's we were talking about this, how we're not united, you know, at the end of the day. We're still not united.
Yeah.
But we do need a little more competition.
Yup.
And there's a difference between beef and competition. You know, in beef, we don't need that. Competition, we need that.
Yeah.
Instead of everybody being friendly with each other, like, yo, we're cool. Like, hey, no, not everybody's rocking the same way I'm rocking. And to be honest, not everybody's rocking the same way you rocking or so-and-so's rocking.
Yeah.
And we need that competition. And when the Wiggy Wiggy Challenge came, we saw that. We saw people being competitive. Like you said, Clever's presentation, it was getting the best out of everybody, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like we need that a lot more here in Houston, because we were talking about last time we had a buzz in Houston, it was in 2006, 2005, whatever it was. So I think what they did was pretty dope. I'm glad that a lot of you guys came and started getting shine from that. And, you know, again, me, when I heard y'all, I was like, fuck, I didn't know these people.
Yeah.
Shit, let me go check them out. And then you start getting familiar with their music, and you're like, okay, these people are not just dope for a minute that they did their verse. These people are dope artists.
Yeah, I got a question for you now.
Talk to me.
I understand this is an interview for me, but you said that Houston hasn't had a buzz since. What are your thoughts on like Travis Scott, Meg Thee Stallion, names that, or Maxo Cream, names that are coming out the city? Although, you know, I know what you mean. The energy was different.
Yeah.
But they are taking they are taking Houston with them. You know what I'm saying? So like,
But
how do you
to a
feel?
certain point, because in 2006, when we had Slim Thug, Paul Wall, Mike Jones,
That was something, man.
that if they were doing a feature with Fat Joe or whoever the fuck they were doing a feature with, that was H-Town, right? It was H-Town style.
Holla at me, baby. The DJ Khaled song, remember that?
You know what I'm saying? So it was like, that was H-Town. Now, Megan, I'm not too familiar with. Travis, I get it. He's from Houston. He represents it.
Yeah.
But you don't get that same feel that we did back then.
Yeah.
Because it's just Travis. It's just Megan. We need to bring... The
I see what you're
challenge
talking
brought a whole
I see what
bunch
you're
of people
talking
together to represent, you know, whatever was being represented, which was SPM, Dope House, Houston talent.
I see what you mean, because with Paul, Mike, and Slim and all that came camps.
Yes.
It came an energy and a force. It came record labels and all this
Strength
shit.
and numbers, how
I
they
get what
say.
you're saying. That makes sense compared to just like a sole individual. I get what you're saying.
Because outside of Travis, outside of Megan,
Yeah, isn't it weird?
you know what I'm saying? Like, it's...
How do you feel about this, man? How do you feel about the energy of like Houstonians or people like that hating on a Travis Scott or a Meg Thee Stallion and saying that's not the representation of the city?
That's usually old people. I'm one of those old people. But I don't... No, but hold on. In a different way. Because me being an artist, I respect the art of it. The way I look at it, personally, is like, if I don't like it, I don't listen to it.
Yeah.
But I understand what they're doing, and it's appreciated that they're representing for us, for the city.
Yeah.
But the older people that you're talking about are the ones that, oh, it's trash. That ain't Houston. Bro, go listen to fucking DJ Screw. Go listen to fucking Big Mo, Big Pokey. they're not stopping you. Oh, fuck the radio.
Yeah.
Bro, I don't listen to the radio.
Yeah.
You don't gotta like it.
Yeah.
But that don't mean these artists are trash, or it don't mean these artists are not representing. That's my opinion.
Yeah, no.
You know what I mean?
I just ask out of interest because like I'll see it, and in my head I'm just like, you know, whether you like it or not, do you at least respect it? Fuck no, I don't respect this shit, man. I don't understand what's wrong with these youngsters, man. They don't get it, dude.
So you agree that it's the older people? You see what I'm saying? Like it's I don't know.
They're stuck in something.
Yeah.
And that's not a bad thing. I just wish that there was a respect factor there. And once again, I'm 27 years old, so I got like a middle child's perspective.
Yeah.
I just wish there was a respect factor because there's
Still
not
art,
flaws
man.
in
Still
not flaws
art.
in Houston. Call me biased, but I think Texas is the best state in hip hop, my opinion. But a lot of people say it's biased. But whatever. Anyways, but I am, you know, I will say that I can see flaws in older hip hop that they complain about shit that is today.
And this is one, hey, this
You know what I'm
is
saying?
one thing I'm gonna say, and y'all can agree or disagree with me. Let
Yeah.
me know. When people talk about, oh, that song is stupid, they don't make no sense. All they're doing is mumbling. Okay.
Yeah.
Pop, lock, and drop it. Did that make sense?
No, but it was
Snap your
fun.
fingers. Did that make sense?
It was a good time.
But you see what I'm saying? Like, what was that bubblegum song? Like, did it make sense?
Yeah.
None of that shit made sense
Well,
back in our day.
Conceptually, no, but it was a good time.
I mean, yeah, but what they're saying is hip hop today don't make sense. And like I said,
Yeah.
I don't like it. I just don't listen to it.
Yeah.
But I don't sit here and bash it
Yeah.
because tell me what makes sense about, you know, swanging and banging, and it's not like people were just lyrical.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Jamming.
It jams,
Fit the
but
vibe.
but that doesn't mean. I think it's just different opinions. That's what it
Yeah.
is. And people, like you said, they don't want to give props. They just want to give their opinion that it's trash.
Don't, man. They've been hating since like when Soulja Boy cranked that Soulja Boy.
That makes sense.
And it's like, y'all
and that shit
motherfuckers-
was
Hip hop ain't
viral.
the same no more. It ain't the same. Motherfucker, you were doing the Tootsie Roll. The fuck
That's
you
my
talking
point.
about?
That's my point.
Like, and that's not a knock to them, but it's just like, come on, fam. The
Yeah.
respect factor. Respect. Like, I want, like, come on, man. You want people to, and I'm speaking from a middle child's point of view. I respect everybody. I love everybody. I'm not that guy that's going to chew out the older heads. I'm not that guy that's going to chew out the younger heads that are having fun. It's just a respect factor, man. And I
Yeah.
can pick out the same shit that they don't like, both sides. I can pick out what they don't like about something, and I'll be like, hey, man, you remember when this happened in 1990? Or you remember when people were like, hip, hop, hippie, hip, you don't stop,
Yeah.
rock it to the bang, bang. Like, damn, the lyricism was so fucking insane, man. Like, you know, like, come on.
Yeah. So you get what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Let's get into your music.
Yeah,
now.
yeah,
Let's
yeah,
let's get into your music now.
Yeah.
So a couple months ago, you dropped your most recent video that you dropped was No Handouts.
Yup.
That bitch jams. Catchy hook.
Appreciate
Catchy
it,
hook.
man.
Before that, you also dropped Left Right.
Left, right. Yes,
That
sir.
was also catchy. I mean, people familiar with that Left Right.
Yeah.
You know, I'm fucking thought.
Hey.
So, talk to us about your latest project, how that came about, and you know, is there a meaning outside of No Handouts? I mean, behind No Handouts, is there a meaning to that track and the whole video process?
Yes. Huge meaning.
I'll take No Handouts. he said.
As far as that, it's like, you know what I'm saying, like, I don't need no help, I don't need no handouts, like, whatever. Like, as far now, that doesn't mean, like, you know, assistance, like a plug to get you on a show and shit. No shit, right? I mean, I'm talking about like the actual like grind itself and going out there and getting it your fucking self and putting in that work, and being able to say that you did it. But I will say this, that came from a real place based on certain relationships around me that ended up falling out, and I felt like I was by myself, and I decided to write about it, and it ended up coming out as a huge banger. I didn't expect it to come out as a banger. I thought I was just writing my heart, and it was fucking dope as shit, and it's one of the best display of my lyricism on a fucking trap beat, and it actually jams and it's catchy. And it literally just happened naturally.
Yeah, because that's a very catchy hook, man. Like when I used to see you pop up a lot on my Facebook,
Word.
And the video at first I was like, is this like a creepy video maybe? Because you know how it has like the hands
Yeah.
on the
Tell you, visuals fucking work, man.
yeah. And then I checked it out. I knew who you were. I didn't have you on Facebook, but I knew who you were.
Word.
And it was like, okay, like this is dope.
Yeah.
And like you said, just when the Wiggy Wiggy challenge happened, I got familiar with you guys, and I was like, all right, so this guy's been dope. It wasn't just his Wiggy Wiggy.
It wasn't
verse.
a fluke.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the video process. Who shot the video?
Shout out to my boy Jarvis. I know him as Jarvis on Instagram and YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, all that shit. His company is Spidey Webber. Spidey Web Her. So that's SPIDIE Web HER. Web Her. Sounds kind of weird. Spidey Web Her. I wonder what he was thinking about when he meant
Web Her.
That sounds very fucking naughty. No, but anyways, but yeah, that's like another form of like Superman though. Like that's like another version of that. But anyways, Spidey Weber, my boy Jarvis, he shot that. I grew up with him. He's actually fuck, why didn't I mention him? He's from Rosenberg as well.
Yeah.
He was my neighbor when we were at we stayed at Mustang Apartments. Shout out to Mustang. It birthed some of the best genius babies out of that motherfucker. And he was my neighbor from up top. And we were just some kids, man. And he ended up picking up a camera one day, and he started just editing his videos. And then one day he got good, and very incredible. And the universe works in certain ways, and we linked up recently. And he is a genius, Spidey Weber.
So
Jarvis.
Speaking of video, when I think of No Handouts, I wouldn't think of the visual you put together because, like I said, it was kind of creepy looking.
Word.
So how did that come about?
So the song itself, I say No Handouts and I champion it, and I'm just like, all right, man, like I don't need certain things that I got this. But it really came from a dark place. That's why the visuals are dark.
Yeah.
I was really sad. I was really depressed. I was really just on some like damn, like it really is just me. And that's why, like, when it comes to hip hop and rappers, I understand the cool thing is to say, like, I got this. Like, it's just me and this whole No Handouts. Hey, man, like, get it yourself. You know what I'm talking about? Whatever. Like, to me, like, it was more it really came from a sad perspective. It came from a really dark sounding, like, I really spoke about it from a really sad place. But the cool part about it is that the production I rapped it over, you could never tell. You could never tell because you sound like you want to turn up. When I perform that shit at shows, that shit goes live.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And you just, if you pay attention to the lyrics, cool. If you don't, cool.
You still like
You know
it,
what I'm saying?
yeah.
Like, you still like it. But if you sit there and digest the shit, you could take it both ways. You could take it like, all right, like, it's coming from a good place. Like, let's get it. I'm finna grind. I'm waking up in the morning, no handouts. Hey, man, whatever. Or you could listen to it and be like, yo, was he writing from a really sad and bad and depressing perspective? And that's actually where I did write it from.
Yeah.
And that's why the visuals are kind of dark. From the lady that we had that seemed like she was like a witch character, like grabbing me and taking me in. That was just inner demons that I was dealing with, things of that nature. And then me on the couch writing. That's me not feeling like any song is good enough. You know what I'm saying? That goes back to what we were talking about earlier when I said nowadays as artists, we're so nitpicky. Well, me, so nitpicky about what I do and what I put out that, like, it starts getting aggravating to where I miss the joyful moments of not giving a fuck.
Yeah.
And that's where the scene on the couch comes in where I'm just mad, I'm pissed off, I'm throwing shit, yada, yada, yada. And so it came from that place. That's why the visuals came out. The visuals really complement my lyrics and where it came from. But when you hear the song, that's why what you said right now, it doesn't necessarily hit like that to bring visuals like that.
Yeah.
But it's eye-catching as well because it got you to click that link.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like with the girl, like,
Yeah. That's one thing that I wanted to ask. As soon as we agreed to have you on here, I was like, I'm gonna ask him because
Word.
At first sight it was like, okay, where the hell does this idea come from?
Yeah.
So that was
real quick before we go to the next one. Shout out to not just Jarvis, but shout out to House of Her. They did the creative direction behind that video, and they helped plotted out and everything. So shout out to the ladies at House of Her. They're the greatest team of ladies that could put together some shit. Bellatronica, Shay Davis, incredible group of ladies that be killing it. So shout out to them.
Already, man.
House of Her, at House of Her, Instagram, Twitter, all that shit.
All right, so we were talking about your most recent project
Yep.
as far as single.
Right.
Talk to us about any upcoming work that you have. What you cooking, like what you cooking up right now? What you got coming out?
I got new music coming. I ain't gonna lie. I'm gonna keep it 1,000. I have some personal things I had to take care of. I'm not finna be like every other rapper that gets on here and says some shit. Keep it 100. Like, I just changed my living conditions. I just moved into a new spot. All this extra shit, and I ain't got it made like that. And I'm not finna front like every other rapper that comes on front of these fucking cameras or whatever. So that took some of my budget away from my future projects. But what I will say, that now that I'm in a comfortable position and all that shit, it's finna actually start being more consistent from here on. I have a EP damn near ready, that's almost towards completion, music and all that. But as far as new music in 2020, it's about to be more consistent. Literally, probably by the time you see this, within the following months, it's just finna flow and it's just finna go. I'm just more comfortable with where I'm at now.
I'm gonna put this out Monday.
Yeah. Oh, you're putting this
just
up? Yo, I don't care, man. Like,
nah, I'm just fucking with you. With your projects, what can people expect? What can people expect? Who you got on there?
You can expect from my earlier music. It was more probably storytelling and shit like that, or whatever. But I will say, from what's gonna come out in 2020, it's more personal. It's more who Mark is. I definitely took a lot of influence, whether people like it or not. I took influence from like a Kanye West and shit like that, where you're gonna get more of me. You're gonna get more of me, of my personality. You're gonna get more of me, of my of who I am, whether it's good, bad, happy, sad, funny, things of that nature. Like the people I grew up on, Eminem and all that shit. Like, you're gonna get those perspectives, and more importantly, you're gonna get somebody to grow with. I don't want to just give you music and whatever. You're gonna get a person more than anything. That's what you're gonna get from my music. I like that. A person.
You're
gonna get a person.
Deep, man.
You're gonna get
that
a
was
person,
dope though.
man.
That was dope.
Like,
I see you also got some shirts.
Man.
You brought some shirts.
Ancient Savages.
This is your brand.
Yup.
This is your brand. Talk to us about your brand. Talk to us about, the idea behind your artwork for it. And I love your fucking hoodie, by the way.
Appreciate it, man.
Maybe I'm being biased because I like red, as you can see in the back.
Word.
But yeah, Ancient Savages. Talk to us about the brand and where can people find the shirts and things like that.
So the thing about Ancient Savages, so I could let me give you the short answer first, and then we can go into the history. All right, so Ancient Savages, it is my brand. It is my boy Joey Bond's brand first before anything. And I always rocked with it, and I take it with me everywhere I go. My merch it's my merch. It's my merch, and it's what I do. And it's a Rosenberg thing. It's a thing that we're taking from Rosenberg, and we already done took it to Cali, things of that nature. But Ancient Savages is another term of, basically, you could say, I know it's weird coming from my perspective, but I'm speaking from Joey Bonds' perspective. It's another term, like you could say OG, Ancient Savages. You know what I'm saying? Like, we've been doing this shit. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, man. I've been doing this shit. I've been preparing for this lifestyle I have. I've been preparing for the music I got going on, and it's been embedded in me for a minute. It's a lifestyle. You know what I'm saying? And that's where it's at.
That's dope. I fuck with that yellow. The moment you showed it to me, I was like, man, I got to get the yellow one.
Yeah, man.
Ancient Savages. And where can people find the link to look at the merch, to be able to buy it, or how does the process work as far as
you can find me at so not only whenever I'm doing the music stuff, in between time, if I'm not performing shows, I'll post links where I'm vending. You know what I'm saying? This is literally my thing. This is my thing, to where I operated outside of just music. Like, if you might see me vending and just ask me, yo, you performing tonight? I might be like, nah, I ain't performing tonight. You know what I'm saying? But I'm vending tonight and whatever. So this is very important to me. This is something I love. You can find me at your local spot, local event. You might see me post it. And on top of that, we have a website, ancientsavages.com. You can visit that. We do shipping, delivery. I'll meet up with you. Things of that nature if you're in the local area. Things of that nature. So it's definitely going down. AncientSavages.com. And you can find us at ancient_savages on Instagram, Twitter, all that.
That's a bet.
Yeah.
Now back to your music. I just feel like that was important to bring up your brand and get people to check it out, get you a shirt or two and all that good stuff. You also make hoodies, I see. So, the cold weather's about to be gone here in a couple of weeks, but a couple months, but you get it.
Yeah.
All right, so moving on, back to your music.
Mm-hmm.
What are some of the artists that you would like to work with as far as upcoming projects that you're working on?
Everybody. I'm like, and I know that sounds weird, but everybody that has good quality, everybody's dope, everybody that's fire. You spoke about Clever. Me and him have a track in the works. You might be familiar with my boy Martin Scam.
Yeah.
We got something
Shout
going
out
on
to Big
too.
Red.
Hey, yeah.
Angry React.
Shout out, man. Angry reactions only. Me and Kevin, he's in the background around here, but Kevin Durham, that's my brother right there. Family before anything. And then let me do a Kevin Durham appreciation real quick one time. Kevin Durham is one of the best. I'm looking in the camera now. Kevin Durham is one of the best rappers in Texas and one of the best rap artists in the game right now. Period. Look him up. Kevin Durham on YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, all that shit. Now that that's done, I will say that people like that. Anybody that has good quality content. And when I say content, I don't mean stories and shit. I just mean like if you're just dope, like let's get it,
You're
man.
a dope artist.
I don't give a fuck. Like let's get it, bro. I love good vibes more than anything. Like all the extra shit is cool, but like as long as you're dope and you're good, I'll fuck around and make music just with a good person. Let's get it.
Good vibes, make it happen.
For real.
Any upcoming shows? We'll plan on putting this out in the next 2 weeks. Or any shows within the next month?
Yo, man, when it comes to shows, not necessarily something that's scheduled yet. I really want to focus on finishing the music, and I actually just declined the show, and I feel so bad for it because it's one of my good homies. He actually reached out, and I'll say his name too because he's very important. Stark Nova. There's a dude named, I know him as James, but his company is called Stark Nova, and they put together great events around Houston and whatever. And yeah, man, like even good people like that, I had to decline just because I really want to focus on performing new music that I have coming, and I feel like they're more personal, more interactive with the crowd, and I'm big on crowd interaction, and we're just gonna go from there. So once I finish this new music, man, y'all be able to find it.
Yeah. So you were just speaking of your boy Kevin here.
Yup.
Well, in your opinion, what are some of the artists that are being slept on right now?
I will say, I'll say the names. Hold on, let me. I got you right now. Hold on. Hold on. All it takes is literally one app open, and I'm gonna see everybody right here. Shout out to Scam. Shout out to Meskin Chano. Shout out to Kevin Durham. Shout out to my boy Slow Life, Clever. Shout out to my boys in Rosenberg. My boy O'Shea. Let's see. Shout out to I see Mr. Never Die on this thing. People that are getting slept on. Outside of that, man, I just did a quick look at my social media. Man, the whole LVD camp. Shout out to YS Poppy Sosa. Shit, man.
Mine went blank. Mine went blank.
My mind went blank, but man, dude, like, I really don't fuck with too many. Like, as far as like to where I could like base off memory, but Kevin Durham, man.
Kevin Durham. I just added him on Instagram right now.
Follow back.
Just
He's in the background,
Instagram.
by the way. If you,
we had him over here. he almost made it happen. Y'all been trying to open this bottle for the last hour and finally made it happen about 30 minutes ago.
Yeah.
So, let's talk about your upcoming projects, upcoming shows, artists you would like to work with. Any last minute shout outs, man?
Yeah, man. I want to shout out to my mom for helping me out in the process of my personal life. I want to shout out my family, my brother, my sisters. This is like the weirdest shout out from rappers because rappers never do this shit.
No, they never shout out to
Yeah,
their
like I
family.
just want to shout out to them for helping me out in my personal life with my process of shit. I want to shout out my girlfriend, Jessica Perez, who is also known as Bellatronica. She holds me down with all of my photos and all that, and she helps me out with my personal life. Of course, she's part of the reason why I'm like really fucking happy with this life. I want to shout out my real friends like Kevin Durham, shit like that. I want to shout out and my other real friends. Y'all know who y'all are. You know, like I said, I'm terrible with that shit, but y'all know who y'all are. I want to shout out God for just
God's up there telling
we
us,
out here, you know what I'm
"What's up,
saying?
boy? I
And
see you, my boy."
I want to shout out to hip hop because if it wasn't for hip hop, I wouldn't be right here, and it would have I literally would not be doing anything with my life right now if it wasn't for hip hop. So I want to shout out to that, and I want to shout out to the platforms that hold me down. I want to shout out to TheJVaz. I appreciate your time. I appreciate you putting me on here. I want to shout out Hustletown Network, 97.9 The Box.
Hashtag no free promo.
Hashtag no free
Let's
promo.
go.
My bad, brother.
Nah,
but
you good, you
But
good.
I want to shout out everybody that's been showing love, and more importantly, can't forget about the supporters that have held me down to where the man behind the camera knows who I am. The people in the city that I'm doing my shit at, you know, shows me love because of the shares and the love that y'all be showing. And I know it's just it's based off good music, so I'm just gonna keep serving y'all that. I'm keep giving y'all that. And thank y'all very much because at the end of the day, I ain't nothing without that. It really makes my day when I come home from work and I see someone just literally just shared my shit and said, "Hey, bro, keep going. You're fired." So that shit means a lot to me, man. And I thank y'all very much. I'm just trying to get it just like y'all trying to get it. You know what I'm saying? And one day, you know, we're going to see how this goes.
One day this shit gonna pay off, man. Well,
Yeah,
shit.
man.
We appreciate your time, bro. We appreciate you making time, stopping by. Good vibes, good energy.
We out here.
You know, make sure you guys stream the music. Marc The Protege, available on all streaming services. Check out the music videos on YouTube. Social media links. Where can people find you?
Yeah, you can find me at Marc The Protege. That's on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. That's MARC, Marc, MARCTheProtege.
Marc The Protege, ladies and gentlemen. Once again, stream the music. No handouts, available on all streaming services. Music video on YouTube. You can find Left Right, also available on all streaming services. And you can stream the whole dope music, whole catalog, Apple Music, Spotify, all that good stuff.
And if nobody told y'all today, I love you. Peace.